Hello, hello. We are coming to you live from the RV with a little bit of lunchtime cooking. Let me know if you can hear me. I already saw Karen and Joanne letting us know they're tuning in from Texas, and Joanne with Southwest Florida, sunny and 82. I am loving all the Florida sun. I am tuning in from Cedar Key, Florida. It's about 75, beautiful, sunny. It's incredible. So real quick background for those of you just tuning in. You might be here because you know I'm tuning in live from my RV, but I am a real person. I do travel full-time in a fifth wheel RV with my husband, John, and our cats. So don't be surprised if you hear some background noise or you see a cat doing something incredibly naughty, because that's typically what happens. I see some other team live. Hello, hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm super excited to have you here. While I'm talking, if you do have questions, you can drop them in the chat. Our recipe is going to be pretty quick, but I'm happy to answer any other questions you have about plant-based eating. If you're tuning in over on LinkedIn, this is our first time going live on LinkedIn. Drop a hey, let me know that you're here, that you're watching live. This is something I do every Tuesday. I come to you from around the United States as we travel with tips and tricks for helping you eat more plants. And if you're just joining in, let me know. Say hello. I'm excited to be here. Welcome to our VegInspired weekly live show. I'm your host, Kathy Davis. I'm an international entrepreneur, founder of VegInspired. I'm a 3-time cookbook author, 1, 2, and 3. And I'm a plant-based lifestyle and mindset coach. I empower and help high-achieving professionals, CEOs, entrepreneurs, and busy people how to easily eat more plants so they can achieve their personal and professional goals, whether it's weight loss or crushing those business goals. Leveraging the power of food really helps them take their energy to 10x and show up as the best possible version of themselves. Our proven systems help you create a life of eating more plants and fitting plant-centered meals into your fast-paced schedule without requiring hours in the kitchen. And I'm super excited to be here with you today live, sharing a really quick recipe. So one of the questions I get all the time is, I'm super busy. I don't have time to just get into the kitchen and just make something really fast. I don't have ideas. I don't know what to do. So I just work through lunch, or I just eat some salad in a bowl. And I'm here to tell you that when you leverage the power of food and really fill yourself with nourishing plant foods that are going to sustain that energy through the day, you can show up as the best version of yourself. Eating a high starch, high protein, delicious breakfast, and then following that up with a nice satiating, colorful lunch. That's how we do it over here in the VegInspired kitchen. So today I wanted to share with you a really quick recipe that you will likely have everything in your pantry to make right now. So if that's exciting, give this video a thumbs up. Let's get cooking. And you can even time me to see how fast this recipe comes together. What we're going to do is, in a nice big bowl, we are going to put 1 can of white beans that we've drained and rinsed. I'm using cannellini beans. You could use Great Northern. You could use chickpea. Honestly, you could probably even use another type of bean that you have floating around in your pantry. So I've already drained and rinsed those. So we'll just get those out. So we are making a lemon pepper rosemary dip. Now, the beauty of this is right now you could mash these beans and make it more of like a bean spread, maybe for some toast or some crackers. I'm going to leave them whole so that I can show you a couple of other options that you can do with these beans. So first up, I'm actually going to put in the dry ingredients first so that I don't have to dirty 2 teaspoons. It's because, let's be honest, I have to do the dishes. There's no shoving it in the dishwasher. So I'm going to do the dry ingredients first, and then I will do the wet ingredients. So again, we're making the lemon pepper bean dip with rosemary. And we're going to start with 1 teaspoon of freshly ground pepper. Now, we love a pepper grinder, so I know how many teaspoons per grind. This is actually linked in my Amazon shop if you're looking for that. Karen, thank you for letting me know you can hear me. That's always my concern when I don't have the mic on. So we're going to do 1 teaspoon of freshly ground pepper. For me, that's about 16 cracks. Next up, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Now, if you love fresh garlic and you love that bite, You could add fresh garlic in here. I love the depth of flavor that dried garlic or that powdered garlic gives it, so that's why I use that. Next on the list, we're going to use half a teaspoon of dried rosemary. Again, you could pull fresh rosemary, but most of the time I have these ingredients right here in my pantry, so I can make this any day of the week, and it's a perfect lunch. And then last but not least, we're going to add a pinch of red pepper flakes. Now, I'm a big wimp, so this is really going to be just a pinch. But the VegInspired chef would be much more thrilled if I added more red pepper flakes. So we had a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of garlic, half a teaspoon of rosemary, a pinch of red pepper. Now we're going to move into our wet ingredients. So I love using bottled juices. They last really long in our fridge. They're organic, and we can also add them to seltzers and other drinks, things like that. So that's why we use the bottled ones. Now I put a tablespoon of lemon juice in this. You could likely sub any citrus juice. And then I'm also going to add in a tablespoon of red wine vinegar. The combination of the two really brings out the flavors and really marries nicely with other ways that you might use this bean dip. Or like I said, if you mashed it, you could turn it into a bean spread. Now you'll see that this is a salt-free recipe, but if you felt like it needed a pinch of salt, you could definitely salt to taste. You all know that I follow the Dr. McDougall philosophy of I don't cook with salt, but I do salt to taste as necessary. I love how you said wash hands. He can definitely add more red pepper. Oh, Joanne, that's perfect. He can add more red pepper, but I can't take it out. And let me tell you, we've had some instances where we got a little heavy-handed with the cayenne or the red pepper flakes, and it became a hot mess. Now, we've got our bean dip. It's like, that's it. We're all done. Now, the cool thing is you could also add in some diced red pepper if you wanted to add a little color. What I've gone and done is I thinly sliced or minced some fresh kale. So I'm actually going to add that right to my bowl. Now I really, really finely shredded this, and then I will just mix that in. That gives me a nice little bite of greens, and I'll show you what it looks like because I think it adds a real prettiness. So this is just another variation of this dip that you can make. Now, the funny thing is I'm done, right? How could you say you didn't have time when I'm literally done with the recipe already? So it adds like a nice pretty color. Just love that. Now, you could eat this on a cracker. So these are Mary's crackers. I love them. I always have some of them in the house. I also like the woven wheats from Whole Foods. You could use those. So you could just dip it in, have your beans on a cracker, and then take a bite. You could also use celery as a scooper. You could scoop it right up. I would bite into these, but it's going to be a super loud crunch, and then I can't talk until I'm done chewing. So you can have a nice big scoop on your celery. I always like to keep celery sticks in the fridge. Now, I don't always chop them. In this case, I had some chopped up to be able to eat with this dip later. But I always like to keep celery because it really makes that crunch. You can eat it with peanut butter. You can eat it with walnut butter. You can eat it with an oil-free cream cheese. You can eat it with hummus. You can eat it with all of these bean dips or bean spreads. It really just gives a nice crunch, and a lot of times will satisfy that craving for something quick. Now, let's say you really want to level it up. You could actually take this bean dip and scoop it right into a lettuce wrap or a lettuce leaf. This is a romaine lettuce leaf, and you could have little lettuce leaf boats of your bean dip. So this is a perfect lunch. The other thing you could do is you could eat it on bread. You could eat it on crackers. You could make a nice big salad, dress your salad with a little bit of red wine vinegar or lemon or a combination of the two, and then scoop this on top of your salad. The options are endless for how you can use these bean dips and these bean salads, and you could double or triple this recipe and take it with you to a picnic. You could, like I said, mash it into a spread and use it on like a quesadilla or wrapped into a wrap with some lettuce. I mean, you can really, really take these dips and do so much with them. And so this recipe is from the 30-minute whole food plant-based cookbook, and it's part of 3 white bean dips that we have in there. I have a white bean bruschetta, so it's just lots of flavor with balsamic vinegar, tomato, basil, and then white beans. And then I also have a white bean caponata. Now that adds a lot more flavor with some olives and capers and sun-dried tomato. So if you're really looking for some creative ways to whip up a quick dish, this is one of them. I love this recipe because it doesn't require a lot of chopping. A lot of the bean dips, I have one in the other cookbook, more of a Lone Star caviar, requires lots of chopping of the celery and the peppers and the onions and all of that. This is quick, right? You can just zip it together and you're on your way. It also holds up really well in the fridge, so you could make it and eat it the next day, and the flavors really meld together. So yes, I love your comments. Never tried celery with a nut butter. I love celery with peanut butter. That's one of my favorite snacks, and something that really allows me to get both the crunch and then that satiation. I also like it with walnut butter, just because I love walnuts and I love walnut butter. And it also is really, really great with hummus. So this was really fast. I would love to answer your questions. If you've got questions about cooking in an RV, if you've got questions about more plant-based recipes that are really quick, if you have questions about other plant-based options or other tricks with plant-based eating, drop them in the comments. I'm happy to answer that. And you know, one of the other questions that I get all the time is, what do I do about meal prepping? Can I prep for lunches? And one of the things that we've found is I don't always intentionally prep, but I do make extra food so that I can eat it at lunchtime. So for example, this is a great option. Whip it up real quick, have it with lettuce, crackers, bread, other veggies, or I might have leftover, we have leftover sloppy joes in the fridge. We have leftover veggie tacos. So we could easily pair this as a snack with one of those options. So awesome. Joanne, thank you so much. You have them in both print and digital. I love that. That means so much to me. I'd love to hear your favorite recipes. And then we'll definitely try this. It's so easy to make. It is easy to make. It has a lot of flavor. If I'm not saying your name, it's because when it comes across to me, it comes across as Facebook user. In order to get it to show me who you are, you have to hit the StreamYard link so that it gives StreamYard permission to access your name in Facebook. So let me know the other questions that you have. Like I said, if you're tuning in over on YouTube or LinkedIn, we do this every week in our VegInspired community. We also have an amazing workshop coming up in a couple of weeks. If you've not registered, I highly recommend that you do. It's our Healthy Habits for High Achievers workshop. It is free. It is 5 days of training and topics on eating more plants, why it's important, and really how to leverage the power of superfoods to really make you show up as your most energized and effective and productive self. So I'm looking for questions. If you've got questions, I'm happy to answer them. Kim, I can see your name. This is what it looks like now. Perfect. Yes, and the digital on the sailboat. I love that. That's a great idea. It's so helpful to have both the digital and the print copy. And when you're shopping, that's a great idea as well. So awesome. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, I'll let you get about your day. Thank you so much for tuning into our lunchtime cooking live in the RV. And for those of you wondering, I will give this a little crunch as we head off of camera. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you next week on the VegInspired Weekly Live Show. And I'd love to hear if you make this and what you thought and any other questions you have about plant-based eating. Have a great day.